here's one. I'll just share one with you, and then we'll get right to your phone calls. I thought this is cool. I've always loved taking hot baths. It's been like, every house we've ever bought, I've always made sure that it had a big bathtub or we put one in. I just like, taking a hot bath, reading a novel, drinking a glass of wine in the tub. It's maybe not always that's such a good idea. I'm not recommending it, but it works for me. Anyhow, so this is from BBC. Can you get the benefits of exercise by having a hot bath? So they ask the question. They say, having a hot bath or a sauna is a good way to soothe your limbs after exercise. But what happens if you do it instead of exercise? And so they did this study where they put people in 40 degrees C tubs. That'd be, around 106 degrees, 110, 120 degrees, whatever. A hot tub, hot bath. And measured their metabolic rate, measured their metabolism. And here is, this is one of the first things we were looking at is the energy expenditure while you're in a bath. And what we found was an 80% increase in energy expenditure just as the result of sitting in the bath for an hour. Now, that's what happens when you exercise. Why are you burning more energy when you're hot? My assumption had always been that when I laid in the bath, I was actually lowering my blood pressure, relaxing my body, probably burning a lot fewer calories because I wasn't keeping my body warm. But, and also what happens to your blood sugar levels when you take a bath? Well, it turns out that actually peak glucose is actually quite a bit lower after a bath. In fact, our volunteers' post-meal glucose levels are on average 10% lower after the bath than after exercise. So bath not only burns 80% more calories, but it reduces your glucose levels by 10%, which if you're burning calories makes perfect sense. So why? Why does this happen? Well, it turns out that it may be due to the release of what are called heat shock proteins. These are chemicals that our bodies produce in response to heat that put our body into a state of shock. It's not the bad shock. It's the kind of shock that you experience when you exercise very heavily. In other words, it alters your body's metabolism and alters it in a way. Heat shock proteins are part of your defense system. They help protect your body against damage. But animal studies suggest they also help divert sugar from the bloodstream and into muscles. Keeping blood sugar levels down is important because persistently high blood sugar damages arteries and nerves. So, this is just fascinating stuff. I just had to share it with you. For what it's worth, our science news for the day.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.